What's up, guys? Kudo-kun here. Been a while since you've had to deal with this ugly mug of mine, but it's been a while since we've actually had to do a Q&A. Since we're starting a new year, thought I'd explain exactly what's going on with the channel this year, everything that I have planned, everything that's going on this week, and that's what we're going to do. So first things first, what's going on this week? This week, I'm planning on doing the Dragon Ball Super card game review, since that is something that has been highly requested of me for the past few months. It sounds pretty neat, so can't wait to get to it. The Xenoblade Chronicles 2 review should be done by this weekend. I still need to record some stuff around the game, and I'm having a little bit of trouble with it, but I will get it all squared away, and this week it should be done. And then tomorrow should be the day that we finally get started on the long-awaited Learning Japanese series. So looking beyond a week, I'm actually wanting to talk about some of the stuff I have planned for this year in general. One of the things is I want to start doing a bit more card gaming stuff. It's been a while since I've actually touched new card games, so I want to go back and sort of talk about some of the card games that I didn't get to talk about before. I've also got some shows that I'd like to sort of get started on. First of all, the reviews and tutorials, obviously. Card gaming stuff, as we just talked about. Under the Radar should be starting this year. Then again, I said that last year, so we'll see what happens, but the plan is to get Under the Radar started this year. For those who don't know what that is, it's pretty much the show talking about stuff that people either didn't really know about, sort of came and then went really quickly, or just had a really bad reputation when it came out, and I sort of want to go back and look at it again to see if it really deserved the bad reputation it had. Logical Japanese is going to be the name of the Japanese series. I'm still a little iffy on the name. I don't really have a good name for it, so I'm just going to call it Logical Japanese until something better comes by. There's this cute little show I want to do called Mobility Buff. I like the name because Mobility Buff is like a video gaming term where somebody's mobility gets buffed, and buff can also mean that you are a huge fan of something. And as a lot of people may know, I get into mobile gaming a lot just because my phone is so convenient. I always have it on me, and during my lunch break or whatever, I'll go through the App Store and I'll look for a new game, and I'll download it and I'll play it, and it's good times. So I'm thinking of maybe just doing a show around that. I could combine that with the Under the Radar stuff, but I think it'll be a little bit smoother if I have them as two separate categories. That way I can talk about one and not talk about the other, if you know what I'm saying. The So About videos are sort of my way of ranting about something or talking about something on my mind. So About actually comes from a sort of Japanese learning term where when you're learning one of the first particles, wa, which some people might know about, some people might not, but it's one of the very basic things that you learn about it, and the way you learn it is wa means so about topic. And I thought that was pretty interesting, so I decided to just turn my whole little rant series into So About blank, because I think it kind of matches. I've been wanting to do a small series. This is kind of one of the stupid ones, and it probably won't actually happen, but one thing I'd like to experiment with is doing something on Encyclopedia Dramatica called Dramaticization, where I go through someplace like Encyclopedia Dramatica. It doesn't actually have to be Encyclopedia Dramatica, but someplace like that, where I can sort of go through and look for somebody really interesting to talk about, and then just sort of go through the article and see exactly what happened with this person. It should be pretty good times if I can actually get it off, but who knows? It's really far down the list, don't worry. I know it sounds stupid, but it's not exactly top priority stuff here. And then finally, there's another series that I want to start called Kudo After Hours. A lot of people know this about me, but I do play a lot of like edoge or games that are just a little too adult to actually talk about on the channel normally. And I decided that I sort of want to dedicate some time to it, because I do it a lot, and it is something, I know it sounds stupid, but I am pretty passionate about. So I'd like a sort of segment where I can talk about some more adult stuff without necessarily interfering with my other stuff, because I know that not my entire audience is into that kind of thing. And if I just sort of dedicate one mini series to like edoge or dojinshi or like all that kind of stuff that people don't normally talk about in polite conversation, then it will make it easier for me to talk about it, and people who aren't into that kind of stuff can stay away from it very easily. So one question people are probably going to have right off the bat is, Kudo, why do you have stupid names for all of your things? Why not just make these videos and call them reviews, or just make the videos? So the stupid names are actually more for my benefit than for yours. It's just really easy for me to keep track of everything if they're really easily categorized, and it's easier for me to accept feedback for them. Like if people say something like, oh, the mobility stuff, the mobility buff stuff is really good, you should do more of those, then I'm like, oh, okay, so mobile games, those are doing really well, that format's doing really well. And then if people are like, oh, Kudo, your dramatization series is awful, I can be like, oh, well, that didn't go over as well as I thought it was going to. Maybe it's the format, maybe people just aren't interested in the sort of internet trash I am. So don't pay too much attention to the actual names of the stuff. It's really more just for me so that I can get feedback on it a lot better, and so I can organize it in my head a little bit better. So moving right along, we're going to get to the questions. I didn't get too many questions last year, or at least not too many that I really needed to answer, but I do have 5 questions here that I thought were pretty interesting that I collected over the course of last year, so we're just going to go through all of them. Question 1. Why did you stop doing card games and start doing video game stuff? So the thing you have to understand about me and the channel is I didn't really come into this with one particular show in mind. A lot of people get into this and they know for a fact they want to do a video game review show, or they know that they want to do podcasts, or they want to do drama stuff, or they know exactly what they want to do going into it. Me making a YouTube channel, it wasn't really something that I came in with a plan like, oh, I definitely want to be known for card gaming. And that's sort of how it ended up turning out, but it was never really the plan to begin with. Whenever I start doing something, it's mainly because that's what I'm interested in at the time. So I'm going to hop around between stuff a lot, because what I want to talk about changes a lot because my interests change a lot. I really like the idea of sort of just having a platform that I can talk about stuff on. Growing up, I had a lot of friends, and the one sort of dividing thing between my friends and I is they weren't ever really into the stuff that I was. So even though I got into all of this different stuff, like I learned how to play all these different card games, I learned how to play all these different board games, I learned all these weird facts about weird people online, nobody was ever really that interested in that kind of stuff. So when I got into YouTube, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna say all of my stuff into a camera, and then some audience out there will pick up on the stuff. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So don't worry too much if I switch from one topic to another. I never completely quit a topic, it's just sometimes I get more interested in other stuff, so I put I put some topics on the back burner, but I almost always come back to them. The card gaming stuff is coming back. It's going to be in conjunction with the video gaming stuff because we're still in a really good time for video games. Why are you so hard on Dragoborn and Dragoborn players? You want to know why I'm so hard on Dragoborn players? Okay, listen to this. I have dealt with Yu-Gi-Oh players, Magic players, Pokemon players. I have dealt with card gamers of all ilks. Nobody gets as salty as the Dragoborn players do. And it's delicious. Oh, I love every minute of it. Every time a Dragoborn player gets upset about something I say about the game, oh, mwah, mwah. So for those who happened to miss the Dragoborn stuff, I guess I'll explain it a little bit. Bushy Road, the company that makes Weiss Schwarz and Vanguard and all that good stuff, they made a card game in conjunction with somebody who worked on Magic the Gathering called Dragoborn. And my stance on Dragoborn is it's a pretty well-made game with some pretty poor marketing decisions, because it uses a 5-color mana system just like Magic the Gathering. The colors are very, very identical to how they are in other card games like Magic the Gathering, Kaijudo, Duel Master, so on and so forth. And it just isn't that interesting, you know, it's missing a lot of flair, I guess you could say. So my entire thing on it is, okay, it's a good card game, but it's not going to do well because of the decisions that marketing executives made on it. You know, the Magic the Gathering guy that came in put way too much Magic the Gathering into it, so anybody who plays it is going to say, oh, this is kind of like Magic the Gathering, and then they're never going to switch from Magic the Gathering to the new game, because why would you? And oh, if you tell that to a Dragoborn player, they will eat you alive. It is crazy how defensive people get about Dragoborn. You have no idea. Like, they will take you and hang you online if you say that Dragoborn is probably not going to do well because it's so similar to Magic the Gathering. It triggers them like no other. So yeah, that's my entire thing on Dragoborn. It's not that I hate the game. Like, there's nothing wrong with the game. The game's a pretty fun game to play. It's just not going to do well, and I've predicted that. And I hate to tell you guys, but so far, have you guys seen the Dragoborn ads? I haven't seen the Dragoborn ads. I saw your another review. Have you considered doing more anime videos? First of all, thank you. For those who don't know, the another review is probably one of my most edited videos. It's something that I worked really hard on, so when I heard that somebody actually watched it and enjoyed it, that really tickled my heart. This was like 7 months ago, so you're probably not still watching, but if you are, you're awesome. So, here's my thing with getting into anime videos. I'm sure a lot of content creators are like this. When I go into making a new kind of video, I always try to base it on stuff that I myself enjoy watching. So, whenever I go in to make like a video game review, for example, I try to edit it in a way that if I myself were to have found that video, I would find it interesting. There are actually some there are actually some videos that I've made that are on the cutting room floor, and the entire reason that I didn't finish them or didn't upload them is because they were boring, and I wasn't happy with the way they turned out. And when it comes to anime videos, I just don't like a lot of the anime videos that I see on YouTube. Anime YouTubers are some of the worst YouTubers that I think I've had the displeasure of seeing. Most of it is just everybody circle jerking about how good their tastes in anime are, and it's just crazy. You've got people like Mother's Basement who are boring as sin to listen to. Then you've got people like Digibrony who aren't really boring, but they're so pretentious that they sort of draw a pretentious crowd. They're stuck in this really awful cycle where what happens is Digibrony will come out and he'll say something that he thinks sounds really smart about anime, and then a bunch of people will flock to that video and they'll hear him say it and then go, oh well, if he said it, then it must be like really high tier anime opinions. So then they take on that opinion, and then once he's sort of like herded all of these sheep in, if you come in and disagree with him, then everybody goes, wait a second, Digibrony can't be wrong about anime, because I base my opinions on what he says about anime. So, if he's wrong, then I'm wrong. Digibrony's not wrong! And the entire community around it is like that. Oh my gosh. Anime YouTubers are so... they're something else. So, I don't really like a lot of the anime stuff I see. I think there are two people who make anime-related videos that I can tolerate. Giguk, obviously, Giguk's Anime Zone videos are amazing. And then a guy called Best Guy Ever. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of him, but Best Guy Ever actually makes really, really, really good content. And I hope he does well. I think he's sitting at about maybe 50,000 subscribers. He deserves a lot more. He deserves to just have a full-on like show with a Patreon that supports him every month, because he's one of the best ones out there. He's a lot better than Digibrony. But yeah, that's the entire thing. I just don't make more anime videos because I personally don't enjoy watching a lot of anime videos, so I find it really hard to be enthusiastic about making them. There are some things that I'd love to talk about within anime. I've got some pretty interesting thoughts on Neon Genesis Evangelion that I'd like to go over. There are a couple of really bad anime that I've seen that I would love to cover one of these days. I just don't make them because I don't know. I'm not happy with a lot of the anime related videos on YouTube, and I just don't want to throw more crap on the pile or end up in the same sort of trap. But thank you for liking my another review. That's amazing. What kind of games are you playing right now? I've converted almost completely over to the Nintendo Switch. That's the only system that I really care about collecting games for. The only time I don't collect games for it is if a game comes out on like the PS4. Like the PS4 has a really amazing library coming out right now. Monster Hunter is gonna be great. Dissidia is gonna be great. Dragon Ball FighterZ is gonna be great. Just so many good games. So whatever I can't get on the Switch, I'll get on the PS4, and then whatever I can't get on the PS4, I'll get on the PC. My PC is still not great, but this is the first time that I've ever had a PC that can play games. So this last year, I went nuts on PC games. I spent way more than I ever should have. I got into a little bit of piracy, though we won't tell anybody about that, right, guys? Right? I need you guys to corroborate with me on this, okay? I downloaded them from a friend's account or something, okay? You gotta work together with me on this. I can't go back to jail, man. I just can't do it. But yeah, that's what I normally do. I got into League of Legends again. I don't know why I keep getting back into League of Legends. It's such a time sink, and I'm... nothing has ever made me as happy and or furious as League of Legends has, and for some reason I keep getting pulled back in. The running joke with League of Legends is I never truly quit League of Legends. I just take really long, year-long breaks. But what are you gonna do? So that's mainly what I'm doing right now. I'm not really playing an MMO right now, even though in the past I've gotten really into MMOs. I'm just not playing one right now. On my phone, I'm playing War Robots and Lineage 2. And other than that, it's 3DS, it's Nintendo Switch, and then it's PS4. When I get my paycheck, I think tomorrow, actually. Do I get paid tomorrow? Yes! So tomorrow I'm going to start playing either Dissidia or I might wait for Monster Hunter. One of those two. I guess message me to find out which one. Last question. What do you use to make your videos? I mainly use Sony Vegas. Vegas is great. And whenever a new version of Vegas comes out, you can normally find a place to download the other version. Like, I think I'm using Sony Vegas 13 right now, and I think it's because Sony Vegas 14 came out, so Sony Vegas 13 just became really easy to crack. I think I did that with Sony Vegas 11 too. Like when Sony Vegas 12 came out, 11 just the doors blew off of it, and it was just so easy to pirate it and get it. So that's what I got. So right now I use Sony Vegas 13. And I use OBS, of course, for my streams. I'm actually using it to make this video here. Aw. And yeah, that's really all I ever use. I don't really see the need for anything else. I don't have a capture card right now. Not anymore, anyways. Everybody knows that I used to have a capture card, but I've got to get a new one when this tax return comes in. And that's really it. I mean, if you're really interested in getting into making videos and you're interested in the stuff that I use, like really just look for Sony Vegas and just type into Google Sony Vegas free download. You're probably going to find something. But anyways, I think that about does it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like. Those things really do help us out. If you have any thoughts on anything, I guess, leave it in the comment section below. And today, leave me the name of one of the shows I said I was going to make. Leave me the name of the one you're the most interested in, okay? And I'll use this as a chance to poll and also to find out who made it to the end of the video. And, I mean, I don't think anybody found this video by accident. If you did, subscribe to stay up to date on the latest Kudo news. But for the rest of you, thank you so much for watching. I know really only my, like, core true fans watch this, so, love you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around, and, hopefully things get rolling tomorrow. Catch you later.